YOLO. Today we're going to be taking a look at two different stocks. You could call them disciples of the DIY, if you will. These two stocks are none other than Lowe's and Home Depot. We're going to be comparing them, seeing who has better dividends, better overall return, what a theoretical $10,000 investment 20 years ago with dividends reinvested would be worth today, and their share price, along with a few fun facts to figure out which one is a superior investment. And as always, this is for informational and educational purposes only, since I'm not a fiduciary or a financial advisor. But all of that out of the way, let's get into it. Starting off today with the older of the two companies, Lowe's. Ticker symbol LOW. Currently sitting at $244.70, they've been around for quite some time. They originally started out as a small local town store, and then they ended up growing into the retail giant that we know and love. From humble beginnings of being a family-run business in North Carolina back in 1921, to one of the top 50 companies with thousands of locations across America, they have made monstrous gains over the years. And they've grown to the point where they even do 3D printing for different NASA space projects, which I was unaware of until I'd started looking into them. So they do quite a bit more than just sell paint and hammers. But let's not overlook just how much money is made from selling paint and hammers and shingles and all other manners of construction and building materials at their stores. They have generated over $86.37 billion, with a B, billion dollars last year in revenue. That is a monstrous amount of money for a company that's basically their entire model is do it yourself. The shareholders absolutely love it. Why? Because they pass on a little bit of that $86.37 billion to the shareholders in the form of dividends. Currently, Lowe's pays a dividend of $1.20 per share paid out quarterly. Now let's go ahead and switch gears over to Home Depot. Ticker symbol HD. Currently sitting at $391.90. Share price already blowing Lowe's out of the water. They are one of the oldest home improvement stores in America, but not the oldest. Home Depot actually started as an idea scribbled on a napkin back in 1978 by its two founders, Bernie Marcus and Arthur Blank. They had actually both been fired recently from a different hardware chain, so they were knowledgeable about the business and thought that they could do it better by making it more of a self-serving business where they had all the items already out on shelves and the customers could come and pick what they needed and wanted to make it more easy access, like a grocery store. The reason they ended up choosing the iconic orange paint was because their funds were low when they first got started, and it was actually a very cheap color of orange that they were able to afford, which has now become iconic to the brand today. Now, one thing that I found out about Home Depot that I didn't know was that their revenue each year is actually larger than the entire GDP of countries like Hungary or New Zealand. So this single business outdoes entire countries. Their revenue can't be that big, right? Well, in 2024, their revenue was $159.5 billion. That is an obscene amount of money. And with that money, they've been able to pay a very nice dividend of $2.30 paid out quarterly per share. So when it comes to total stock price, Home Depot is in the lead. When it comes to higher dividends, Home Depot is also in the lead. But what would a theoretical $10,000 investment 20 years ago with dividends reinvested be worth today? And how important is a CAGR for a company's growth? CAGR standing for Compound Annual Growth Rate. Home Depot is currently sitting at a 9.22% CAGR, and Lowe's is at a 12.98%, which doesn't seem like that big a difference on paper. It's only a few percentage points. But boy, does it add up, and we can see here with the actual returns. A theoretical $10,000 investment in Home Depot 20 years ago, with all dividends reinvested, would currently be worth $97,259. You would have more than 9x'd your initial investment in a 20-year time period. This is incredible growth. and that's the power of a 9.22% CAGR. But it is completely blown out of the water by Lowe's. A $10,000 investment with Lowe's 20 years ago, all dividends reinvested, would currently be worth $232,583. An absolute monstrous, gargantuan growth rate. This caught me by surprise. I always know that having a double-digit CAGR is absolutely phenomenal when you're trying to grow over time, but with their revenues being so much smaller than Home Depot's, I did not expect this level of growth. So I had to double check that a 13% CAGR was actually that powerful. It kind of baffled me and made me really glad that I had invested in Lowe's a few years ago. So when it comes to total share price, Home Depot is in the lead. When it comes to higher dividends, Home Depot is also in the lead. But when it comes to total return over the long run, Lowe's completely blows Home Depot out of the water. And it will probably not be too long until Lowe's catches up and surpasses Home Depot in the other categories as well. Now, I actually have a unique position that I have more knowledge than the average person on the logistics of these two companies. The reason being, I'm an over-the-road flatbed truck driver who does mini loads for both of these companies. I've done loads from their distribution centers to their store locations, or from manufacturers to the distributors, or even from manufacturers straight to store locations. And I have been able to see the volume of freight we move, but more specifically, I've been able to see the prices that are being charged to each of these companies. And I can't really go into specifics, but what I can say is Lowe's gets much more favorable rates on their products being shipped to them from their distribution centers and from manufacturers, whereas Home Depot is paying out the nose by comparison. The trucking company I drive for actually has mega contracts with both of these companies. And recently we lost a couple of the locations for Home Depot because we were being underbid about 2 years ago. But the people who underbid us were not able to make profit on the contracts because they had gone so low. So they weren't able to handle the workload, meaning we came back in and we had more leverage to charge Home Depot more money. That's just one of the examples I have of being able to know a little bit more about companies' transportation and logistics because of my job, which gives me a slight advantage when it comes to investing in companies like these. But let me know in the comments below if you are invested in either of these companies, or if your job gives you certain extra knowledge about companies you can invest in. Not quite insider information, but it sure feels like it sometimes. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.